Activate screen.
Hello everyone, how are you doing?
Hello, Mr. Kuman, how are you?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, sir.
Yes. I
Hello,
can
Mr.
hear
Shaman,
you.
how are you doing?
Doing good, thank you.
So, hope you have done that assignment that I asked you to work on it.
Yeah, we have done. I have done, sir.
I tried it. I got stuck somewhere, but yes, I did try.
Okay. What about you, Shaman?
I tried it too. The calculations were a little bit hard for me too. I got stuck.
Okay.
Hi. Yes, I tried, sir, but simply using while low. I'm not sure it's correct or wrong.
Okay. So, did you finish it or not?
Yeah, I finish it.
Okay. So, can you share your screen?
My screen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Can you show your code? Can you show me? Can you show me your code?
It's so disabled shares. Host disabled attendee screen sharing. It's so like.
Okay, so let's do one thing. You just share your code in the chat.
Okay.
All right, so what we have discussed yesterday, Simon.
Static and non-static, and then inheritance.
Okay. Yeah, tell me.
We were trying to see the different types as well.
We understood about static block, static variable, static method, and yeah, we understood about inheritance. Am I right? So
Yes.
let me show you the assignment, and you can check whether you have done the same way or not. Let's go to my project. So I'm creating in the class in the default packages. Right click on the default package and select new and class. And my class name will be print event. Okay. I need main method, obviously. Click finish. All right. So what was the requirement? Let me repeat again. The requirement is that it is going to read the two input, your first number and second number. and it is going to print only even number between the range. Okay. First, we need to read the input from the console. Okay. So how can I read? We discussed already yesterday by using the scanner class, right? So I'm going to use the scanner class here. I'm using the scanner class here, scanner input equal to new scanner. System, through system, I will read the input. So system dot in. System class will have a 3 object: input, output, and error. So in indicates that it is the input stream which read the input from the console. Out, we are going to use to print the output in the console, and the error we used yesterday, that is to print the error message. Okay, so let me import the scanner class here. And now scanner class we have imported from the util packages. Okay, and scanner object is equal to new scanner. So here this scanner is a constructor which reads the input from my system console, and I will use different object from the input to read the different data, such as for integer we use next integer, float next to float. Yes, Frank, any doubts you can ask me.
Yes, so my question is, when do you know when to use the scanner class? That's kind of like, because I know how to kind of do it to this part, so I had to kind of trying to figure out when to, like, what class to use, I guess I would say.
See,
Like, how do you?
just if you want to know any class, what is the use, just put the cursor over there. You'll get to know what exactly the scanner is used for. It is a simple text scanner which can pass the primitive types and string using the regular expression. A scanner basically breaks its input into the tokens using the definition pattern, which is by default the matches white space. The recruiting tokens may be converted into the different values of the different data types using the various next method that you use. And this is a syntax, the same thing which I have used here. We can just keep in your mind that scanner is something which is going to scan the input from the console, whatever I will give in the console during the runtime. That's all. All right, now let me save the code. If you want to know more details, then you can just go to the API. Simple, open the Google and say Java API, okay, which we have discussed in the previous session already. So where you can see all the packages that is related into the particular classes or methods that we are going to use. So here I'm going to use this util packages, and from that I'm going to use this scanner class in my program. So if the util I'm going to importing here, but I never use, when I'm going to use the system class, I never imported any packages when I'm using the system class. You might have thinking that way. You have imported the scanner class, okay, fine, because you are using the scanner class in the program, but we never imported the packages that is belong to system class, right? The answer for that question is system class belongs to the default packages. System class belongs to default package of your program. Now you will ask me, okay, what is the default package of every Java program? I will say java.language, java.lang. Java.lang is the default packages which is loaded by JVM. So we as a developer, we no need to worry about to import the lang packages in the program. Okay, so that is the reasons. Apart from the language package, java.language, apart from these packages, any other classes if you are going to use, then you have to import that specific package in your program. Now let's try to read the input first. So I will print some message in the console. I will say enter first number. Okay, integer number one equal to input next integer, because I'm going to read the integer values, so I have to use next integer method of my scanner class to assigning the value into the number one variables. Always try to use meaningful class name, always try to declare meaningful method name, always try to declare meaningful variables name. That is the standard code based on the industry requirement. That is a standard code for the industry needs. I have seen in my 15 years of experience, most of that learner like you, they will declare the variables X, Y, A, B, C, what exactly that means. Even the class name also, it is not a meaningful. Even the method name is also not a meaningful. Please don't do that. Always try to declare some meaningful. When I'm writing an application to design a product object, then declare the class as a product. When I'm trying to print even numbers, then declare the class is a print even numbers. Okay, so here the next integer method from the input object of the scanner, which scan the integer values from the console, and whatever the value is going to scan, the same is going to initialize to my number one integer variables. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the second input values here. I will say enter second number. Okay, and my second variable is what? Number two, because variables should be always unique, not duplicate. Now I can use any type of looping statement. I can use any type of looping statement here to make the iterations of my program, to make the iteration of my programs. Okay, so what I can do here, I will just use the while loops here. Okay, I can use any loops also, like for loops or anything, but while loops is easy to understand. So let's use while loops. So I will say while number one is less than or equals to number two. That is my what? This is what? My test expression, means my condition. Okay, number one less than or equal to number two. Till this condition is true, then whatever I will write inside my while loop block, it has to be continue to execute. So I will say here, if number one percentile 2 equal 0, that means if any number from starting, when I'm trying to divide it by 2, and if the remainder is 0, and if the remainder is 0, then what I will do, I'm just going to print that number. So I will say number one, and I want to print in one single line. So I will say print. I will use print methods. Okay, and here I will keep update always the number one. So that is the update expression number one plus plus, which has to be keep continue to execute. Okay, so let me explain here the code. Let's assume my number one is 1 and number 2 is a 30 or 20, any number that I can give. So 1 is less than or equal to 20. Yes, condition true. It will go inside the while loops. It will say 1 when I'm trying to divide 1 with 2. So remainder will not be 0, right? So then it will not print that number 1. Okay, then number 1 has to be increment, that is 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. Again it will check the condition, 2 is less than equal to 20. Yes, again condition true. 2 is when I'm trying to do module of 2, if the remainder is 0, then I'm going to print the number 2, because here I'm getting the remainder 0. So like that it will keep continue until you reach up to the second number. Now let's this code. Let's try to execute this code. Let me save it. And let me do one thing here. Give some space here. After printing each number, I just want to give a space over here. Yeah. Each time I'm printing one number, I want to give a space between two numbers. Okay. So I will say my first number is 1 and second number is 38. I can see all the even number between the range here. If I'll say I want to print the odd number, I want to print the odd number here. So what I need to do is I will say not equal to 0, which is remainder is not a 0. The remainder is not a 0 here. So what I can see here, let's run the code. So same I will provide here. My first number is anything I can give, let's say 4, and second number, let's say 45. I can print only the odd number. Now same like I want to print alphabets in between the range. So what are the changes I need to change here? What are the changes I need to make here? If I want to print all the alphabets between the range, something called A to M or maybe B to F or something. So what are the changes I have to make here? I need to
First, we need to access the character.
instead of number, I will say first alphabet. And I will say second alphabet. Okay. So here I have to read the alphabet. So I will say instead of number, I will use character because I want to store it one single digit, single alpha 1. And here I will use instead of integer, I will use next dot caret methods index 0 position. Means what exactly this method is, even though if I will give ABC as an input, so it will take the first index position. Okay, that is in 0 positions I have only A, so it will take only the A value here. So same thing here also I will do changes. So instead of number 2, I will say character alpha 2 and here I will use semicolon, and here also say next caret 0 positions. Okay, so in place of number 1, I will say alpha 1 alpha 2. This condition is not required here. Simple, I can print the alphabets. Okay, and I can change my update expression. So alpha 1 plus plus. Now let's save the code and run it. My first alphabet is D, and my second alphabet is P. Okay, I can give some space here. I have not given any space, so it's coming very close each and every alphabet. So I got between D to P here. It's clear. The same thing that we can use by using for loops also. Okay, let me just
Can you copy what this example? Can you put it?
yes, I will do. I will do. The same that we can use by using for loops also. Okay, another loops in integer. Sorry. So for loops is easiest way where we can understand that and identify easily that how many times that loop is going to be iterating here. So I can say something called value. Okay, I will get the same output here, but I'm using for loops. Say E and G. I got only 3 alphabets E, F, G.
What if the second alphabet is behind? So if the first alphabet is
Yeah.
Y and the second,
This is starting one. This is my condition, and this is going to be keep incrementing here. So always I'm going to print the alpha one, which I have assigned to the values. And the same thing that we can print by using do while loops also. This is another programming approach you can use. Let me show you that also. Let's put this in the comment line.
okay, but we're going to be learning about it later, right? Because
This is something fundamental programming, basic fundamentals. These are. Okay, so here we have a do while the condition is true. So while I will write here me first print the initial value, then I will write the condition. So first I'm going to do is nothing but which will execute first, and then later it will check the conditions. So I will say print alpha 1 plus, okay, backspace, and then do alpha 1 plus, and my condition over here is alpha 1 less than equal to alpha 2. Yep. So what will happen here? Before, if you look into the while loops, first it is going to check the test expression. If it is a true, then then only it will go inside the block to do some task, execute. But in do while loops, it's a bit different. So it is not going to check any condition initially. It is going to print the initial value as usual, and then it will do the increment, and then finally it will check the conditions. So if the condition is true, then it will come up, will do it is going to do the task. Now let me save this code and let's run it. Okay, so mostly developer they use for loops. It is easiest, and we can reduce the code, and easy to identify how many times the loop is going to be iterate as compared to while and do while loops. For loops is better and easiest to understand. Now I will text this code in the chart. Yes, I just copy this code. Okay. So what
Excuse
we
me.
have discussed? Yes, Priyanka, tell me.
Yeah, I can't copy from the chat.
Why?
I don't know, sir. I can't able to copy from the chat.
You can just select select the code and copy.
No, I can't able to select any text from the chat. There is no other option.
No, can I tell you?
Yeah, sure.
Then what I will do, I will put
Let's
all this.
go. Yeah, let's go open the chat and whatever
Okay.
program that has been posted. So just select with the help of your cursor. And once you get selected, then just press Ctrl C and open on your desktop notepad. Just paste as it is with the help of Ctrl V. And after pasting the code, we have to just save it. So it's a little bit easier.
Okay.
Just go through the chat and just select the program. With the Ctrl ELC is fine. It's
Yeah, actually, I can't select the program. I can't select the chat. I can't able to select.
oh.
Okay.
I have a question.
Now, one more application we'll discuss. Some logical program we'll see
I
today.
have a question, please.
Yes,
We are using even number and the odd number. We can use it like that. The first example. How about if it is like it skips 2, 3 numbers?
I didn't understand your question.
The number at last it comes like 1, then instead of it is even number 1, then 3, then 5, like that. It skips every two numbers or 3 numbers.
That's
How
even
can
number,
we do that?
even an odd number.
Not even only even in the odd, but it skips like 2, 3 numbers.
Today
So every 3 number,
we discuss
like if
only
it's
even
number
and
5, the next
only.
number will be number 8.
Today we discuss only even and odd number, not any other programs.
How can we do that one also?
We discussed right before.
If it is possible, you can show us.
You want that code?
Yeah. Instead of using the module, the remainder by 2, using another codes for that. Or the alphabets instead of every RST, skip 1 by 1. Like A instead of B, C instead of C, D, like that. Can you show that
No,
that code also?
no, that's not possible. Linda. Okay, now I'm going to discuss one more logical problems, how to solve it. Sometimes you'll get a question, sir, during the interviews. Find a largest number among 3. There are 3 inputs, there are 3 numbers. Okay, and you need to find out the largest number. You need to find out the largest number among 3 numbers. Means I will give 3 input and my program has to find out which is the largest number of these 3. Okay, that we are going to discuss. So I will say find largest number. Okay. So I'm going to take three input. So let me just copy the same as we discussed the scanner class part. Instead of writing the same code, let me just copy here. You will find out a different way of program, different logic, some complicated, maybe through Google if you'll try to search, but I will show you a different and easiest way to solve and find out the largest number among 3. Okay, so I am going to read 2 input. Let me read one more number also. Enter third number. This is number 3. Then I will write integer maximum number. I will initialize number 1. Maximum number is equal to number 1. Then I will start writing the condition by using if number 1 is less than number 2, I will say maximum number equals to number 2. Again, another if condition, if number 2 is less than number 3, then I will say maximum number equal to number 3. And then finally, I will print the maximum number. Okay, now let's try to run this code. Well, 14 and 10. Which condition is satisfied? My first condition is satisfied. Okay, so it says maximum number is 14, right? That is interesting. Now again, I will give second scenario. I will say 12, 14, 20. Maximum number is 20. That means my second condition is satisfied, right? Now let me go with the third scenario where I will say 12, 3, and 5. So 1 second, I think it's overlaps here. Somewhere is going wrong. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So what exactly I'm doing here is, first I have initialized number 1 to maximum number, and then I'm going to do the comparison here with number 2. If yes, then maximum number is number 2 now. And then number 1 with the number 3. If yes, then the number 3 is your maximum number. If both are the failed, then I have a number 1 that I got it finally. Sometimes when you attend the interviews, right, in technical round, they will ask such kind of a, logically code to write on your Eclipse. Okay, just they want to see your programming approach. So they just want to see your logical idea to resolve such problems. Let me share this code as well. Yeah. So what we have discussed yesterday, let's continue with that. Yesterday we talked about inheritance. So inheritance, what you have understood? What are the types of inheritance we have discussed? What are the types of inheritance?
Five types of inheritance:
What are the?
single, multi-level, hierarchical, multiple, and hybrid.
Okay.
First, for single, multi-level, hierarchical, Java accept only these three directly.
Mhm.
The other two Java does not accept directly.
Okay.
In single inheritance, there is one parent class.
Mhm. Okay.
One subclass.
Okay.
In multi-level, the class A is a parent class. Class B and class C are subclass. Sorry, I'm not sure.
Sir, can I explain?
There are 5 types of inheritance we discussed yesterday.
Yeah. Can I explain, sir?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, there are 5 types of inheritance. It's a first one is a single inheritance, then second one multi-level, third one hierarchical, fourth one multiple, and the fifth one a hybrid inheritance. So inheritance is basically the concept. It is like that. That means through creation of objects, we acquire the properties and behaviors from the parent class. That means there is a concept between the parent and the child class. So we can access the properties of parent class in the subclass. So in a single inheritance, there is only one parent class and one subclass. But in multi-level inheritance, it's like maybe the class A is a parent class, then class B is a second child class, and the class C is again the third subclass. So in the hierarchical, so it's kind of that means one parent class and there are different types of subclasses.
Yes.
But we cannot, that means the Java doesn't support the multiple inheritance and the hybrid inheritance. But we can achieve those concepts with the help of introducing the concept. It's like an interface. So through interface, we can access. Yeah, that's it.
Yes. So we have discussed single level inheritance, multi-level inheritance, and hierarchical inheritance. And we discussed multiple and hybrid inheritance. Multiple hybrid doesn't work support through class directly, that we achieve through interface, but remaining 3 single level, multi-level, and hierarchical, that will work directly through our class level. Okay, so I have created a class called single level. In top of that, I will create one more class called student class. Okay, so this class is what? My parent class, or we can call it super class also. Anything is fine.
Super. Okay.
Yes, super class also we can say.
Okay.
Next, we can write one more class called teacher class. Class teacher. Class teacher is what? Is another class. But until or unless when I'm not using this extending the student classes, it is not a child class of the student class. Until or unless I'm not writing this syntax extends the super classes, extend the student classes, teacher class is not a subclass or child class of my student classes, right? But in object-oriented programming, what we have understood is like we need to achieve the code reusability. We need to achieve the code reusability. The same code we are going to reuse. We are going to reuse the same functionality and the properties. So we have to use the inheritance concept. So to achieve the inheritance, we have to use this extends keyword. So the moment I will say extend, everything is reused in the teacher classes. So what I should write here, I should say class teacher extend student here. So if I'll write something, some properties in the student class, let's say integer student ID, say some properties called string name, say some properties called let's say standard. Okay, so string standard. All right, now I can just define those values here. I can say SID equals to 1001, and name equals to something called let's say Jacob. One second. Yeah, Jacob, and I can say standard is something called, let's say, 12th standard. Yeah. Now, something I'm getting over here. Syntax error expected after this token. Class teacher systems. Syntax error and token. Open braces expected after this token. Okay. So all these properties, I will tell you why, what exactly that error is. So all these properties is what no? Super class properties, right? Now I just want to write a functionality so that I can know, okay, these all are the student information, not the teacher information, right? Because these properties are not belongs to teacher, right? Teacher has extended all this data from the student classes. So what I need to do here, I need to introduce a method. And that method can tell me, okay, these all are what? Student data, right? So what I will do here, I will say public void so student. Clear? Now I have a method which is going to, I have a method in my subclass. It is going to say, hey, I'm going to expose all the student informations, right? Interesting, right? Here. So all the data, and that I'm going to reuse here, same properties. If I'm going to introduce one more class, something called, let's say, class principal, extend the students, then that will become my hierarchical inheritance, right? Because there are two subclasses for a student class. One is a teacher class, and the other one is what? Principal class, right? Okay, let's talk about that later. Now, as of now, here we are talking about only the single level inheritance. Okay, so here the teacher is going to say, this is the ID of student, this is the name of the student, and this is the standard of the students. Apart from that, teacher is going to assign some marks for this particular student. Teacher is going to assign some marks to this particular students. So obviously that will be the properties of my teacher class, right? So I will say float marks 1, marks 2, marks 3. So there are 3 marks. Okay, there are 3 marks that teacher want to give to this student. All right. Now what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to say, okay, let's read all these marks and get the data from the console. So what I'm going to do, I will say public void marks. So I will say, first let me introduce the scanner class, because without scanner I cannot read, right? Scanner, new scanner. Requirement, the coding will be increased, obviously, right? So that's what the developer they do. So system dot input stream, that is basically to read the input from the console. Let's import the packages. All right, perfect. So I will use now this scanner inside my method. Okay, so what I have here, marks 1, marks 2, marks 3, this is what? Instance variables or local variables? It's instance variables, because this is not declared inside the method, outside of the method, inside the class. Okay, whatever we have declared in the student class, that is a super class properties, which I'm going to reuse and initialize the data inside the stores student info methods. Perfect. So that I'm not going to read something direct. I have written some hard code and I've initialized directly in the program itself. Okay, so let me just add some marks for the student. Say marks 1 equal to input dot next to float, because it's a float variables, right? So next I'm going to say that enter second marks. This task is going to done by my add marks, enter second marks. Right now, say 2 equal to input dot next to float. All right. Now again, I will say just copy this instead of writing the same thing. Right. Third marks. And same thing, what I'm trying to do here, I just want to do the sum of the marks. Okay, so I will say total equals to marks 1. Let's declare this variables in some variables, because if I declare this method, right, then I can use only inside that, and I don't want to do that. Let's declare one more variables here called I will say equals to 1 plus 2 marks 3. Perfect. Right, and the same thing, I'm trying to do the average marks. I'm trying to find the average marks also. Declare one more variables. Yes, that's what we do here every day as per the requirement. We'll do keep coding optimizations, adding new features. So average also. All are what? Yes, we know that. So it is going to adding the marks, and it is doing the addition and average. So we say average marks is equal to something called total marks and divide by 3. That's what we do calculation, right? So I got the total and average marks. What exactly I do is going to display the marks, right? So we say another method, say float. I'm trying to introduce a method with return type. Okay, void and void, which doesn't have any return type. Now here I'm going to introduce one method which returns a float, because I'm going to return only float values, right? So float. So public float, say so student marks which have a return type. Have a return type. What is going to returns? It is going to returns what? Total marks. It's going to return total marks plus it's going to return average marks also. I think concatenation is not allowed here. Try mismatch cannot convert string to float. Yes, that doesn't work. Yes. So total marks. And I have tried one more method. So these all are what my subclass methods, right? So in the superclass, I have just initiated only with some properties, but the rest of the new feature, as per my requirement, I'm just keep adding in my new class, right? So average, and which has to return average. What I have to do now? I have to call these methods, right? I have to call these methods. Okay, so I'm going to create an object only for my subclass, because everything is inherited, right? Student to my teacher class. So I will say teacher class equal to new teacher class. I don't have any constructor parameterized, no need to pass anything here. Now I will say teacher, which one you want to expose first? You want to expose the student info? Yes, we can just call. After that, you want to add the student marks? Yes. So I will say first I'm going to display the student and then I'm going to add the marks. Okay. So teacher dot add marks. So it will help me to adding the marks, do the calculation of addition and find out the average. And then I'm going to display the total marks and average marks. Okay. So teacher dot show total marks. Okay. And is going to print the average marks also. So one second, what is that method name?
Method name starts with the A, sir. Yeah, it's a, yeah.
All right. So let's, my program is ready to execute now. Let's see what's happening here. Let's run. So first what I can see, hold on. I have just initialized that, but it is not going to print here. 1 second. Say teacher is giving here ID plus some blank space, name plus blank space plus standard. Okay. Now it will expose. Let's run this. Yeah. So it says this is student information. Now what is the marks you want to give to this Jacob? Student name is Jacob. So the first marks is let's say 56. Second marks, let's say 76, and the third marks is, let's say, 84. What's happening here? The problem over here is I know that I will not get this output here. Okay. The problem over here is whenever you have the method return type, you should call that method in the SOP statement. That means what I'm trying to say, this method simply says, hey, I'm going to return. Have I have written any SOP statement inside that? No, I'm not done, right? Simply I'm going to say, hey method, if I will call this, then you have to return the total, which is a flow type of, right? And the same thing here also. So when you have the space method with specific return type, then you have to call in the SOP statement. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to say here SOP statement. So I will say so this method. Now it will print. Let's run this code. Seven. So second marks is 75. Third marks is 69. Yes. So this is my total marks. I should give a space there. Okay. And this is my average marks. This is the total marks, and this is my average marks for this particular student here. Right. So here the super class basically provide the basic information, the properties, and the rest of the code that we have introduced in my subclass, that is a teacher class over here. So let me share this code. I can send only half of up to 25. and the rest we'll see tomorrow. So we can just do practice, and if you can just add new features that we can do. Let's copy from the 26. one. That's all for today's sessions. Do some practice, whatever I discussed. Again, I will give you another assignment tomorrow. I will give you another assignment to work on the inheritance tomorrow.
Okay, so don't yet, I'm still copying what you put in the chat. If you disconnect, then it will go. I'm just asking you not to disconnect from the Zoom right now because I'm still copying the things that you put on the chat.
If I will disconnect the call, then
No, I'm saying please don't disconnect right now because I'm still copying the things that you put in the chat.
you can copy it now. We can copy the code, whatever I have said in the chat.
Okay, then I also want to suggest maybe, for studying revision purposes, when the exercise, when it is clearly written what the exercise is about, it helps for clarity than just copying the exercise, than just copying the code. I don't know if you understand what I mean.
What you didn't understand?
What I'm saying is this, like when we're doing an exercise,
Yes.
if it is clearly written what the exercise is about, like for example, 1, create a class, 2, try to get the average of this and that. If it's clearly written as an exercise and then we do the code, I think it's good for our studying later on. Later on, when we want to study it and revise, we know exactly what we're doing in that code.
Okay, got it. So from next time, I will give you the clear picture what you need to do.
Okay.
The next time when I give assignment, I will give you clear understanding, clear picture what exactly you need to develop.
Yes,
Okay.
that would help. Thank you.
Thank you, Simon.
All right, see you tomorrow. We will get the same recording links from the resources, and any questions you can ask me tomorrow sessions. Bye. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Have a good night.